Hello, everyone. My name is Sylvain Rochon, and I am the Paradise Engineer. Today on this episode, I wanted to talk about ethics, the ethics of first contact. Not many people think about this because first contact seems to be far off or seems to be fiction and whatnot. But think about this. We would have an embassy, that's good, a place that us humans understand as a place of diplomacy and encounter, and that seems all fine for us because we're used to that. These are our protocols, basically. And our friends up there, they would probably take whatever we throw at them because we are primitives and we are the ones that have a hard time understanding what's really happening in the universe, and we're all learning and so on. So they'll adapt to whatever we put up, and that's probably really great. They have a massive amount of experience in variety of ethics and protocol and diplomacy because they are dealing not only with their own internal struggles and differences in their own nations, if they have such a thing, or at least different groups and all the differences internally, but they're also dealing with multiple different civilizations that have evolved or been created or have been living in the universe for millions of years. And they're all different and interacting with each other at a galactic and universal scale. So they have all that experience and knowledge, and they have also all that experience and knowledge about ethics and protocol, what works best and what works less. And they know us and we don't know them, basically. So what happens at this embassy? Well, the expectation is we'll have certain leaders or diplomats, let's say, that would walk into the room in their suits and ties and well-combed hair, all prepped with their smartphones and what they want to say. And their thoughts and what they want out of the conversation is going to be probably very different from what our friends that have landed have in mind. We can imagine the politicians or diplomats that are given instruction that will be in front of the ETs to have in mind the idea of creating some sort of partnership for information, technology, knowledge, connection. They want to have first dibs on certain things. For example, being able to have more conversations than others, other nations, for instance, and so on. They'll have some kind of ulterior motive trying to get some advantage over other nations, most likely. And they'll be as ethical as we are as human beings in such encounters. So, handshakes and greetings and whatnot and archonic protocols, which may be extremely different from what our friends would expect or would actually do if it was their case. So I think we need to, if at all possible, to instruct our diplomats to have an open mind and to go in there without expecting to get something out of it that is not balanced for all the nations and everybody on Earth. Because I think our friends will know this is going to be approach and will not appreciate that kind of approach. They are not coming to Earth to honor a specific nation or specific religion or a specific group of people. They'll be welcoming the whole of humanity in a general sense. And they will have the objectives and the ideologies and their own expectations of the meeting that would be aligned with that, unlike most likely what we do. So I think we'll have just a lot to learn out of that experience. And I would like to think that we being humanity, not the Alliance necessarily, will have a say as to who are we sending up into that room with ETs. Governments, and especially the nation that is hosting the embassy itself, will probably have a strong say as to having somebody in the room and having something to say. But I would like to think that as a general humanity, when the moment approaches, that we'll have the wisdom to place somebody in front of the ETs in discussion that will represent us all of us, whether they're a member of the United Nations or not, represent humanity and have the humility of listening and asking them what they are willing to share and what is the next step in the relationship. It's a first contact experience for us. It's not a first contact experience for them. So everything is to learn. Some food for thought. If you have any comments on this and you want to have a chat about this particular topic, leave a comment or join us on the Discord, and we can have a conversation. Have a good one. Bye-bye.